A quiet campground. A truck, abandoned in the Washington wilderness. 3 little girls who never made it home, and a father who disappeared into the trees. This is the story of a dad, a soldier, and a man whose mind seemed to fracture before the world even realized he was breaking. I'm Kayla, and this is Pretty Curious, so let's get into it. On May 30th, 2025, Travis was supposed to return Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia to their mom that evening. He didn't. Her calls went unanswered. When he picked up his daughters for a normal weekend visit, nobody thought it would be the last time they were seen alive. To understand how it got to this point, you have to look at who Travis was before he broke. Travis Caleb Decker was born August 15th, 1992, in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. In high school, he participated in wrestling and football. He went on to serve in the U.S. Army and National Guard with deployment and experience in specialized training. Many describe him as disciplined, physically capable, someone used to structure and routine. He was married for 10 years to Whitney Decker, and he was a father of 3 daughters, and by all accounts, he was the kind of father who showed up. He coached, he packed lunches, he FaceTimed his girls on nights he couldn't be there. But somewhere in between those deployments and the bills and the long nights of silence, something started to shift. Travis began to unravel. His ex-wife said he could go days with only an hour or 2 of sleep. He'd wake up screaming, soaking wet with sweat, and then act like nothing happened. She tried to be patient, but in November 2022, she filed for divorce. She didn't accuse him of violence. She just said he was unstable, that he needed help. After his divorce in 2023, friends said he seemed off, withdrawn, anxious, sometimes even paranoid. He talked about feeling watched, about people turning against him. His ex-wife Whitney had begged the courts for anger management, psychiatric evaluations, and domestic violence counseling. She said he was becoming unstable, and the court documents back her up. There are pages of warnings, but he still got partial custody, weekend visits, overnight stays, as long as he stayed local and kept it together. Except he wasn't keeping it together. By early 2025, Travis was essentially homeless. He drifted between cheap motels and campgrounds, living out of his truck with his dog. He told friends he was thinking about leaving Washington, maybe even crossing into Canada. On May 26th, just a few days before the disappearance of the girls, authorities discovered that Decker made several Google searches, such as, how does a person move to Canada, how to relocate to Canada, and Jobs Canada. He even visited Canada's official job site, which means he wasn't just scrolling. Because these searches happened shortly before he vanished with his daughters, in court filings, they've been flagged as evidence of preparation to flee the country. The location of the victims' remains is also relevant. They were found roughly 11 miles from the Pacific Crest Trail, which is known for hiking routes that can lead to Canada. And I'm like, boy, leave Canada alone. They don't want your ass. The next day, May 27th, 3 days before the scheduled visitation, Decker was involved in a fender bender. Video footage would later show him in a parking lot talking to the other driver and the responding officer. In the video, Decker appeared nervous and fidgety. He reportedly told the other driver not to call the police. He was cited for no insurance and following too closely in that incident.
This happened at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
I was coming down this street here, and it was a full stop. Everybody started rolling. I got my license.
What's that?
I got my license.
No, the story. What happened?
Everybody was rolling and everything was going, and all of a sudden I hit him. I don't know how all of a sudden it felt like he was sitting at a stop.
Light was green.
Light was green.
Okay.
All the other cars were rolling. I wasn't on the accelerator. I was still just getting my foot off the brake because I know this light's usually really slow.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're
Okay.
Well, we stopped there, and I asked them to come over here just so we weren't sitting over.
Oh, yeah. No problem. Can you grab your license, registration, not insurance?
So my son doesn't have his registration, but he has his paperwork for the vehicle.
Okay.
And registration.
Okay.
Sorry if I was jacked up.
No big deal.
License, I don't have insurance.
Can you text that to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Okay. Where are you at now?
I'm kind of in transit.
Okay. Where do you get mail right now?
I am receiving it at the Armory over here in Wenatchee.
Okay. What's the address there, do you know?
1230 5th Street. I'll use my ex-wife's address.
Okay.
So yeah, it appears to me that he has the appropriate reaction for getting into a fender bender. Of course, if you don't have insurance, you're going to be a little bit nervous and fidgety. But overall, I don't think his demeanor is anything crazy. You can let me know in the comments what you think of that. But now we get to May 30th, which was his scheduled unsupervised visitation day. Around 4 p.m., Travis picked up his daughters, Peyton 9, Evelyn 8, and Olivia 5, from their mother Whitney's home. He told Whitney they were going camping. She reminded him that they need to be back by 8 p.m. Which I'm like, how are they going camping if they need to be back by 8 p.m. and it's 4 o'clock? They only have 4 hours. Which sounds like the shortest, most boring camping trip I've ever heard of, but to each their own. His strange behavior was not lost on Whitney, though. She said his eyes looked off. He was distant and his speech was flat, but there wasn't enough to stop the visit legally. A neighbor, Ben Nugent, said that Travis, when he came to pick up the girls, quote, looked very sad and kept asking how he'd been many times over and over. Nugent described that Travis would repeat questions as though he had forgotten he already asked them. During that same encounter, he allegedly told Nugent that he was working construction, quote, out of state. 8 o'clock came and went. Whitney texted and then called, no answer. At 9:15 p.m., she left a voicemail saying, "You're supposed to have them home, Travis. Please answer." His phone location pinged near Rock Island Campground in Chelan County and then went silent. On May 31st, Whitney filed a missing persons report. A state trooper recalled pulling Travis over just a few days earlier for a minor fender bender. Travis had no license. No valid license, anyway. He reportedly asked, "If I don't have a license, would I go to jail?" And then the officer said probably not. Travis looked relieved, like almost too relieved.
Well, you'll probably get a ticket in the mail for having no insurance, so we're required to do that if we respond to an accident.
I'm not going to jail tonight?
Oh, no, you won't go to jail for it. That's an infraction. That's not a criminal offense.
If I didn't have a license and I was driving, would I go to jail?
It depends.
I'm just curious. I don't know this stuff. I don't know the laws.
Well, so it depends. Like, if you don't have it with you, but you have one, is that what you're asking?
No, like, let's say if I don't have a license. Or it's
If you're
expired.
non-licensed, period, then
Or it's expired, or it's...
typically you're not going to go to jail, but you'll get a criminal citation for it with a court date 2 weeks out. It's not something that we would typically take someone to jail for. If it's expired, it's actually not a crime. It's just an infraction.
What happens if it's suspended?
That's a crime. Yeah.
Can you go to jail for that?
You can.
Depending on
It depends on the situation.
life.
Yeah.
What's going on.
Yeah. It also depends. There's 3 degrees of suspended, so it depends on the degree of suspended as well.
What you got to take it away for?
Yeah, basically.
Right on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Have a better day.
They're all great days.
What's that?
I said they're all great days.
Yeah. All right.
Hey,
man.
be safe out
Yeah,
there. huh?
thank you.
On top of what you see in that video, he was also asking odd questions about extradition laws and whether cops, quote, track people across borders. The whole interaction was just giving...
Do you wear wigs?
No, I do not.
Have you worn wigs?
No, I have not.
Will you wear wigs?
Maybe.
When will you wear wigs?
And when you add all of this together with the fact that a family friend reported Travis had mentioned, quote, taking the girls where no one could hurt them, everyone was absolutely panicked. On June 1st, authorities traced his truck through traffic and gas station cameras heading towards the mountains. Witnesses say they saw a gray pickup parked at a remote pull-off near the Wenatchee River trailhead. A campground host remembered seeing a man matching Travis's description buying propane canisters and a water bottle. And by evening, helicopters and canine units were scanning forested areas off north of Leavenworth. And on June 2nd, search teams found Travis's truck abandoned at Rock Island Campground. Inside the truck, they found his wallet still on the seat. The girl's shoes and little backpacks were scattered on the ground like someone had meant to come right back. But they never did. There were signs of staging a camping trip. Blankets, a cooler, and a half-burned campfire. Near the truck, about 30 feet away, searchers found them. Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. Each child lay wrapped in a blanket. Over their small faces were plastic bags sealed tight. Investigators would later count them. 2 bags on one girl, 2 on another, and 3 on the youngest. Near their wrists, cable ties lay. The kind you'd find in a hardware store. Some still cinched closed, others were cut and discarded in the dirt. It's the kind of discovery that even makes detectives go quiet. On the back of his truck, 2 smeared bloody handprints. Forensics confirmed they were his, and another blood sample non-human. This turned out to be from his dog, who was later found alive but starving 2 miles away. That's a purebred good boy. Somebody get this dog a Purple Heart, a Netflix documentary, and a presidential pardon. Some detectives think the dog might have been hurt trying to follow him. Others think the blood was transfer, maybe from Travis's clothes or the ground after it brushed against him. Honestly, I hope that dog bit his ass like it had gravy on it and the Lord was looking away. Whatever the truth, that small trace of animal blood became part of the map and proof that the dog was there and lived through hell. DNA tied Decker directly to the crime scene. The handprints on the truck, the bag, the zip ties. It was clear he acted alone. But then the question became, where was he? Travis Decker, armed, trained in survival, and carrying military experience, had vanished into the mountains. He became the ghost of Washington State, spotted, then gone again, a survivalist in the forest, hunted by everyone, mourned by no one. When news broke, Washington launched one of its largest manhunts in years. And for weeks, search teams combed the terrain with drones, ATVs, and infrared, but he knew how to disappear. 3 months later, a neon green shirt caught the eye of a drone pilot. Beneath it, scattered human remains, feet, femurs, vertebrae, no skull, no torso. DNA confirmed the remains were Travis Decker's. The official word? He's dead. But because so much of him was gone, the coroner says we may never know how he died. There were signs, obvious ones, that something inside Travis Decker was breaking. His wife saw it. His friends saw it. The courts read it on paper. But he wouldn't admit that he wasn't okay, and no one made him face it. What I'm most curious about in this case is the pathology of what are coined, quote, family annihilators. The fact that in many cases they follow patterns. Isolation, loss of control, financial collapse, grand plans to start over, and then the slow erosion of empathy until love turns into ownership and desperation becomes a decision. Because if we understand what makes a person break, maybe we can stop the next one from doing the same. Peyton was the oldest, 9 years old. She loved to draw and was always the one helping her sisters zip their jackets or tie their shoes. She wanted to be a teacher someday, and her favorite color was turquoise. Evelyn, 8, was the quiet one, the one who noticed when someone felt left out. She collected smooth river rocks and kept them in a jar by her bed, each one labeled with a memory. And Olivia, only 5, she was the wild one, full of questions, full of laughter, The kind of little sister who would always want to tag along no matter where her sisters went. They were loved, they were wanted, they were everything to their mother, and no one should ever have to live through what she did. So we hold space for her too, for Whitney, who tried to be heard, who did everything she could, and who has to carry what's left. And that's the case of Travis Decker. There's no smooth way to transition out of a case like this, but I realized in my last video that I didn't really address the fact that I was doing my makeup at all while I was talking about Ed Gein. So yeah, the makeup or the hair that I'm doing is more like just a coping mechanism, how I stay sane while I tell these stories, but I think it's very important that they be shared. So thank you so much for watching, and if you've made it this far, congratulations, you're officially as weird and as curious as I am. So don't go getting normal on me now, stay curious.